Alright guys, what's going on? First video of this series, and we're going to very loosely go over just kind of a brief introduction to what it is exactly I'm doing. No one wants to see your ugly mug. Why are you doing this? Well, I am sick and tired of seeing the argument that we don't know what the founding fathers meant when they said this, or they wrote this, or why there's a comma here and not there, and any of this garbage. Let me tell you something. That is coming straight out of our government-run schools. And it's garbage. It is an absolute fallacy. We have two sets of documents that show us exactly what it was, the mindset was, that the background thought was behind why they wrote the Constitution the way they did, why they wrote the Bill of Rights the way they did. All these kind of things are very clear and evident if you just read the contextual transcripts to help enlighten what it is that they were thinking when they wrote these documents. It's very simple. We're going to start off with the Federalist Papers. Not a lot of people know what these are, unfortunately, which is just a crying shame, because this book should be to every American what the Bible is to every Christian, what the Torah is to every Jew. It should be, without question, the most important political-based book you have in your collection. This trumps everything else as far as your opinion books. I don't care what Sean Hannity wrote last year. It's irrelevant. This book is what matters, and having an understanding of this book is key. Now, I am a homeschooler. I grew up in a homeschool environment. I had a extremely solid foundation. When I went to do my GED, I scored in the 95th percentile in America for those tests. The reality of the situation is I had a very strong educational upbringing, and there are words in these letters that kick my butt up and down the block. I'm horrible with the enunciation of them. I do not do very well with some of the sentence structure. I hate the way John Jay writes. I'm just going to put that out there. Hate it with passion. Want to crumple it up, throw it out the window, done. Hate it. But, nonetheless, struggle through this with me, okay? All the authors, all the big scary words, all this kind of stuff, and I'm going to stop when I hit a word. For instance, I've already gone through the one here. Diminution. Diminution. Bet a lot of people don't know what the hell that word is. So that is, I'm going to stop when I hit those words so that everybody who is paying attention here can go, what is that? What is it? The reduction or size of importance of something. Oh, well, when you read it with the definition, it makes freaking sense. Awesome, cool, let's do that. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to struggle through it together, and it's great. That's challenge one in all of this. You can find these online for free, all the letters. And I'm going to go into it they're actually listed. The Federalist 1 by Hamilton. That's the introduction letter. That's what we're going to start with on the next video. And you can open them up, follow on your web browser. I would actually even prefer if you could print them off and take notes. Just write down things that you see and that you observe, and things you want to ask questions about. You can post them in the comments section of this video, and I can go back in the future and readdress these things and go over these things, and we can make this an experience. We can make this a good thing, something that everybody gets to take some meat away from it, which is what we need right now. We have to stop this argument of we don't know the context. Yes, we do. I know the context. I can answer that question. That's the goal why we're doing this. For those of you who follow the Facebook page that I admin on, Conservative American Military Veterans Against Barack Obama, you know I hold not amity, well, that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that at a different time. Anonymity was the word that I was going for there. I hold to that pretty well, so why am I putting my face out there? Well, as, again, you guys know, I've been saying for a while now, half measures, the certain hold barred nonsense that we've been doing, it's out the window. It's gone. We can't do it anymore. We have an executive branch that is not being checked or balanced by a legislative or judicial branch, which is the exact foundation that this country's government was built on. And it's being violated. It is being brutally beaten, having its lunch money stolen, and getting kicked to the curb. It's awful. So what the number one thing we can do is to prove by studying these texts, and in the future the Jefferson letters is something else we'll go over. We can say to our legislative branches, to our elected representatives, no, that is not right. That is not how this is supposed to work. I am very, very ardently telling you that that is not how this works. I know how this is supposed to work. I've read what the founding fathers were saying and what they were thinking and why they did the things they did, and I can tell you, you are not acting within the way they intended our government to be run and operated. So that's the basic idea of why we're doing this. I guess a little brief introduction to this, if you will, is letter 1, which we'll go over. I'm probably going to break it down into 2 videos because some of these are long, some of them have a lot of content. Even the first letter, the very first letter in this series, the first one, is literally, it's a mirror image of the political spectrum we find ourselves in today. It is a division of people who believe that only the states should have authority, and a division of people that believe only the federal government should have the authority. And it is talking about how we have to come to terms and understand that there are people who are saying these things with the best of intentions, no matter how mistaken they are, and we have to acquire a balance that works so that the sovereignty of the states, which are the defenders of the people, the will of the people, is protected, and so that we have a functioning, unified federal government, that we are a union that functions properly, so that the rights of all people, the state can't violate our rights. It is, again, a perfectly implemented check and balance. The state can't violate our rights in this area, the feds can't violate our rights in this area, and we have to come to a logical conclusion. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, we stand on a precipice where for the first time in history we get to find out if mankind can make this form of government work, or if we just have to go through and decipher our governments by accidents and force. That is where they stand in 1787, 1788, the winter of 1787, 1788. That is where we stand. And it's remarkable when we start reading it tomorrow, whenever I can make the next video. It's remarkable how well it mirrors what is going on in today's society. The exact same things that they were facing in the late 1780s are the same things we're facing today. And that right there is a definitive blow to the argument in and out of itself, that we don't know what they were thinking. They were thinking the exact same things we're fighting about today. The exact same things. Your liberal friends and yourself were sitting at the dinner table the other day, and someone said, gee, we need more gun control. And after you almost snorted your adult beverage out of your nose and burned the living crap out of your sinuses, you went, are you freaking insane? I could stab you with this fork right now, and you would tell me that we don't need fork control, so if I shot you, why would it make any difference as to whether or not we need gun control? Why does that even make sense to you? And you've had these conversations. Some of you are laughing right now, so don't even tell me you haven't had these conversations, because I've had these conversations. But these are the same debates that they were facing when these were written. It applies today because it applied back then. The same arguments, the exact same things were happening back then that are happening today. And that is why this book is important. That is why these letters are so monumentally important for us as Americans to understand. So that's kind of the general introduction into what's going on here. A little bit of background on here. There's a quote on the back of the book here. It says, "A nation without a national government is an awful spectacle." In the winter of 1787 to 88, a series of 85 essays appeared in the New York press. The purpose of the essays was to persuade the citizens of New York State to ratify the Constitution of the United States. The three authors, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, John Jay, if you don't know those names, again, civics course, you gotta know these people, were respectively the first Secretary of Treasury, the fourth President, and the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in American history. These dudes built it. They're here. Each had played a crucial role in the events of the American Revolution. Together they were convinced of the need to weld 13 desperate and newly independent states into a union. Okay? So for all you guys out there going, we don't need a federal government, you're freaking wrong. Their essays make the case for a new and united nation governed under a written constitution that endures to this day. The Federalist Papers are an inseparable guide to the intentions of the founding fathers who created the United States, and the canonical text, you guys can pick apart the enunciation of I'm not going to mind at all. I haven't actually prefaced this and actually read it and looked things up, so deal with it. I wasn't expecting a big word to be in there. I'm sorry. Okay, bite me. Text and development of Western political thought. The new edition pays full attention to the classical learnings of their authors and the historical examples they deploy. This edition includes the introduction, textual notes, bibliography, synopsis, chronology, map, appendix, the American Constitution, explanatory notes, and index, blah, blah, blah. Now, why do I do all this? Simple. This is a book that I'm holding in my hands. What I want you to do is, whether you do it online or you get a copy of the book, which I paid like 16, I didn't pay no 16 bucks for that. I paid like 10 on Amazon, okay? Get tangible copies. Worst case scenario, find them on a website and follow along with me. Because I don't want you to just sit here and listen to the words that I'm vomiting up at you. I want you to read it and apply it to yourself so that you understand the arguments and that you can say, no, sir, you're an idiot. Here's why. And that is why it is so important that we do these books. This video is going to run about 15 minutes, all said and done. The ones in the future will not be this long. I promise. This is just the introductory video. I'm going to try to keep them down to about 10 minutes, which means some of these letters are going to be broken into 3-4 videos. I'll label them all when I post them on the YouTube channel, and that way we can keep track of where we're at, do all these kind of things to kind of just keep everything cohesive and uniform as we go through this. I'm going to just go ahead and put out a disclaimer. While I did have a very good education in the English language and studied classic English literature and New American literature, things of that nature, my classic English, it sucks. It's not good. So the reality of the situation here is I'm going to struggle at times as I'm reading, especially when my dyslexia is worse. My enunciation of some of these words is appalling. It's horrible. So work with me. And yeah, you can make fun of me. I don't care. I'm thick-skinned, despite the, this going on. That's hair anyways. But it's all good. I'm doing this to show you that anyone who is really willing to put their minds to this and is really willing to take the time to go, I don't know that word. What does that word mean? Type it in the little dictionary app that they've got. Oh, that's what that word, that makes more sense. I get it now. And take what they said at its literal meaning. And we can do it together. That's the whole point of this. Is so that we can understand and we can get better at what we're doing here. We can better debate our side of the argument. Because once you learn what's in this book, I've read it a couple times, and this is the first time I'm actually dissecting it. But once you learn what is in this book, you can go, really? You think that's the opinion that they had on that? Can you explain why John Jay said this before the Bill of Rights was written? And they look at you and they go, who's John Jay? Or, they have no idea how to come back from whatever it is. Or my favorite is they'll take a line from the Jefferson letters that is so grossly out of context, it makes you throw up in your mouth a little. And try to run that down your throat, and you go, yeah, now guess what? I've studied that too. You're full of crap. So that is the point of all this. More videos to come, obviously. I'm going to try to do at least the first letter in its entirety by the end of this weekend. and we'll go from there. We'll see how things go, and hopefully you can share these videos with your friends and get a little bit of groundwork based on there. But some just brief overview of the first letter before I go here. We've got two sides to the coin, but the point is, I can't argue from either one of those sides. We have to look at the facts. We have to figure out what we're doing here. We have to understand there's dangers on both sides of this argument, and we have to come to a conclusion, because we are the people in the hot seat. It is our time to figure out if this can be done properly and successfully. And if it can't, we are screwed. And what's actually funny about that, if you review the War of 1812, people didn't necessarily take what is in these letters to heart. They kind of forgot it. They kind of kicked it under the rug and left it be. And we almost got our asses handed to us in the War of 1812. It was not good because of a lot of the things discussed in these letters. That is it for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my dissection of the first letter and try to make the video for that tomorrow morning and get it posted. Take it easy, Cam Vabo, and everybody new. You can, of course, like this channel, comment. And if you're interested in more of the ramblings of a mad jackalope, you can go ahead and go to www.facebook.com/camvabo, CAMVABO, and that is our webpage. Keep in mind, for those of you new, it's not a debate page. It's a safe haven for like-minded individuals, and if things get too out of line, I'll just boot you, because, quite frankly, I'm not the government. You don't have a First Amendment right with me. Take it easy, guys.